Greetings, people of the internet. This is Scott with CircWorks. It's Friday. You know what that means. It's time for Fan Art Friday. Today, we're going to go way back and we're going to do the original Planet of the Apes. We're going to do Cornelius. You've blown it all to hell. Okay, so today on Fan Art Friday, we're going to go way back. And you probably know me as the guy that draws a lot of stuff from the 80s and even the 70s. You know, I do a lot of Star Wars stuff. But today we're going to go back even further, even before I was born. And I'm I'm a pretty old dude. So we're going to go back to 1968 for the original Planet of the Apes. So I am doing Cornelius. And if this is one of those things where I was gonna do another series, because there's a few, I was thinking because in Planet of the Apes they've got the apes that are based on the chimpanzees, and then the apes that are based on the orangutans, and then the apes that are based on the gorillas. And I thought it'd be cool to do one of each of those characters, but I don't know if I'm gonna do that because I don't know if there's that big of a demand, although I would have fun doing that. But today I'm just going to stick to Cornelius as one of the kind of the chimpanzee apes. But yeah, Planet of the Apes is, again, this predates Star Wars. So, this was like, and of course, again, this is before I was born, but this is the big, this is like the big science fiction franchise before Star Wars. It's not like, not a space age type stuff, although they do go to space and there's astronauts and things like that, but it's pretty much always centered around a planet that could be very similar to Earth. I won't give a spoiler away, even though it's it's a 1968 movie, but it's pretty iconic. You guys have, I'm sure most of you are familiar with the twist ending of Planet of the Apes, and even if you weren't, you probably saw it coming because it's been repeated and everything. But that's one of the cool things about Planet of the Apes is there's always, if at least in the original series, there's most of them, there's either a twist ending or just this wow, I can't believe they did that type of ending. So just movies that I really enjoy. Now, one of the things I guess I wanted to talk about was not sequels, but like remakes, because of course there was the Tim Burton remake, which I think it was pretty successful as far as money making and what it grossed and everything, but critically it wasn't that well received, and I didn't really care for it that much. There is some cool stuff about it, like the makeup and everything, who was done by Rick Baker, who's this amazing makeup artist and everything. The makeup in the movie was great, and there's some cool stuff in the movie, but it was also kind of a weird movie for Tim Burton because didn't really feel like a Tim Burton movie. It was almost like he was just kind of a hired gun to do this movie. So, but anyway, so it didn't go over that well. But aside from that, when you think of remakes and things, you kind of think of that, where they take something cool from either your childhood or whatever, depending on how old you are. For me, a lot of these movies they're remaking now are from when I was a kid. Like I just saw the trailer for Point Break, which that one kind of has me scratching my head why you would remake that, but but anyway, they've remade so many, whether it's Total Recall or RoboCop, all that kind of stuff. So, and most of them just they're not great. The originals were just they something more to them. But every once in a while they get something right, and for me, Planet of the Apes is like the new series that started with Rise and continued with Dawn, and now they're working on War of the Planet of the Apes. It's hard to say. I don't want to say if I like it better than the original. It's different, and I think that's they just went a different route. They kind of went back and kind of told the prequel of how everything happened, which we didn't really know before. So that was really interesting, and even now that they're starting to kind of catch up to the place where they were, and I don't know if they'll go. I'm sure they'll go in still a different direction, but where they were with the original Planet of the Apes movie from from '68. But they just did this amazing job, and the fact that these creatures were created, digitally with CGI and mocap and things like that, and they have such emotion. I mean, it was like kind of like the first time where you would actually watch a movie and think that you could give like a best actor to a computer generated character, because there was such emotion. Andy Serkis played Caesar and everything, and just did just amazing work, and but it's just amazing that they can pull that kind of thing off, because we've seen these digital characters before then, but I think this was the first one that I watched, and it just I couldn't see the CGI. I couldn't, just the emotions and everything were just so amazing. And I think that lent itself to the success of the movie, but also the story and everything. And there's a couple examples of times where they've rebooted something that I loved, but they went a different route, And the other example would be Battlestar Galactica, and I'm like a huge fan of the original Battlestar Galactica, even though it's kind of they're even though I think it was in development before Star Wars, believe it or not, but from my my hazy memory, but eventually when Star Wars became a hit, it kind of got the green light, and I think there was a lot of let's do this like they did in Star Wars and stuff. It doesn't really hold a candle to Star Wars, but it's still part of my childhood and something I enjoy. But then when they did the reboot again, they just came at a totally different angle. I mean, they decided that this is going to be almost like a war drama, but in space. There's not, unlike the original version, there weren't all these weird looking aliens and things like that. It was people, but it was set people and the Cylons, which were made by humans, and they really got deeper into it. I mean, it's just amazing, the acting and the storytelling, and it is by far superior to the original Battlestar Galactica, even though I do again like the original. But Planet of the Apes, I think, is kind of that same thing, where although I love the original, I love what they were able to do at the time, and the makeup effects back then, it was just something that you hadn't seen. And they progressively, as the films went on, because the original series had 5 films, and the makeup would get worse kind of as they went on, because each budget got a little bit lower and lower. But I don't know, man. It's just like, as much as I love those original films, and this is one that I can probably say that that the reboot was better, and that doesn't happen a lot. It's like for every 25 or whatever bad remakes you get one that's actually good, and it's nice to see those, because I'll be the first one to bash remakes, like, oh, why do you got to remake that? Why do you got to remake that? But then things like Planet of the Apes and Battlestar Galactica come along, and it kind of makes you rethink, and it's like, it can be done. It can be done well and everything. So anyway, so turn our attention back to the drawing. So we're going to start doing some coloring with the Copics here. I want to do some more color sketching. The last one I did was the tick, so we got to do some Copics there. Actually, I recorded this drawing a while back. Even before I think I did the tick one, and it's kind of just been sitting there. I'm sort of planning, as I record this, I am probably in sunny San Diego, California. So I didn't have a lot of time to put one together, but so I just took some old footage of a Fan Art Friday video that I never kind of got around to doing the voiceover, and that's what I'm recording now. So, but anyway, so I think I mentioned this on the last one, where if you watch the way I was doing the tick, I had done the colors first, and then I went back in and drew the line art around that, and that's just because the ink that I had, the ink that I used, and I talk about, I guess I talk about this all the time, but I guess it bears repeating. It does, the ink I like to use is Deleter number 5 if you're looking for it. It works really well with Copic markers, and it doesn't smudge or anything. But I kind of ran out of that. But since I've got some more, so I'm looking to get back into actually doing some more of these, marker renderings and Copic drawings and everything like that. So anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video, Planet of the Apes. I just want to remind you guys to please, I know I got some new subscribers, and this probably isn't your cup of tea because I know a lot of the people that are following me from Miscrits are probably younger and probably aren't that familiar or care too much about the original Planet of the Apes. But if you are here, then maybe not. So maybe you're checking this stuff out. But I'm going to have all kinds of stuff. But I want to know from you guys what you want to see me draw on the next Fan Art Friday video or future Fan Art Friday videos. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know, and I'll try to draw those. And remember to like, subscribe, and let me know what you think. And I'll be back later, and that is all.